Hello, welcome. I'm Taryn. Thank you for joining me. Today I want to share with you some deep core connection practices, and the deep core being the diaphragm, the pelvic floor, our deep transverse abdominal muscle, and our multifidus muscles. Hi, welcome. I'm Taryn. Thank you for joining me. Today I want to share with you some deep core connection practices that help us to tune into our deep core. Our deep core being the diaphragm at the top, our pelvic floor at the bottom, our deep transverse abdominal muscle, and our multifidus muscle, offering our deep spinal support. And I feel that it's important for us to connect into this space for a couple of reasons. One, because the deep core is what I consider our foundation for movement and our foundation for fitness. It's what provides a strong, stable base for us to move from. And energetically as well, it's what our body uses to communicate with us. So often you'll hear people talking about, I had this gut feeling, I felt it in my heart, and more women are tuning into womb space and womb wisdom. And this is particularly the area of the body that I certainly tune into and sense and feel when I have a decision to make, when I'm unsure of something, or it's how my body talks to me when I am stepping out of alignment, perhaps doing something that's not aligned with my values, my vision, my truth, or just giving me some kind of warning signals of what's going around in my environment. Anyhow, let's begin. Now, just to make sure that you are aware, I'm much of the opinion that you are the expert in your own body. So whilst I give you some guidance, it's here for you to just play around with, feel into for your own body and see what works for you. So a comfortable cross-legged position is good to begin with, and then just pulling away the flesh so that the sit bones are really grounded onto the floor. And I'm just going to start with some circles, making some circles with the spine, and you can play around with how big or small they are. Now you might like to, before you begin this, to actually simply close down the eyes and to take a few breaths into the body just to tune in and connect with. And then just taking that in the opposite direction. And you might like to play with the breath, taking a deep breath in as you beam your chest forward, and then breathing out as you press back. And then coming to rest somewhere in the center. You take one hand and place it beside us, and then just taking the other arm to reach up overhead and to come over to the side, getting a beautiful stretch through the side ribs. And focusing the breath into the side body. And you can play around with how deep you take that. A suggestion is to try and keep the sit bones anchored. And then you might like to just explore how it feels as you turn the chest forwards and then opening through. So just a bit of movement in a couple of different planes. And then perhaps one final reach across and then up into center. And as you just come to rest in this position, just noticing the difference as to how it feels on the side that you've just opened and stretched into versus the other side of your body. And then we're just going to take the same movement onto the opposite side. Again, playing around with that forwards and backwards motion. Bring the arm and the chest further towards the floor in front of you, and then opening through the chest space up towards the roof. And then again, perhaps one final reach across, and then back into center. Going to open through the chest, and then bring our hands to meet, to interlace the fingers, and then to flip the hands. I'm just going to turn side on so you can see. And then just really press into the back body. And begin to breathe into the back ribs. Again, you might like to play around with some movement side to side. It's really about feeling into your body, feeling what feels good for you. And then taking the hands behind, again interlacing the fingers, pressing down towards the ground beneath you, and then opening through the chest at the front and breathing into the front chest. You might like to play with a tilt of the neck. And then releasing. We come over into a 4-point kneeling position. Some movement through the spine here. Pressing through the hands, arching through the body, then opening through the chest and really just allowing the tailbone to reach up towards the roof, tip down towards the ground. And then perhaps taking some circles. So similar movement, but in a circular motion. And then same again in the opposite direction. From here, you might like to reach the hands in front of you and just stretch out through the front of the chest. And then gently walk the hands back to bring yourself into a child pose position. You can experiment with walking the hands to one side of the mat, opening through the side body. And then, of course, to the other side. And then in this position, just taking the knees a little wider, and again, just experimenting with your body and what feels good. Coming up towards a 4-point kneeling position, but then bring your sit bone back to take a seat onto the heel. And so it's a circular motion, but you're putting the weight of your body onto one heel and then onto the other. And with this movement, just getting a stretch through the inner thigh of the opposite leg that you're sitting back towards. From there, you can take a bit of a froggy position, froggy pose. And with the legs out and the elbows as a support, just a bit of gentle movement forwards and backwards to get different fibers of the muscle. You can play around with also tilting through the pelvis. Bit of circular motion as well. And then finally, just bringing the legs around. And either just resting in a position here with the elbows supporting your upper body as you take a stretch through the lower spine and through the chest. Or perhaps you come a little higher onto the hands. And then with that as well, you can take a little twisting motion and action. And then take your preferred position to just rest and enjoy.